Good morning, guys. Make sure this stream pops up. Make sure that we are online. Okay, that is good. You know what? I actually have this playlist. This is so random. I have a playlist that, it's a list of Suicide Silence dubstep songs. Some of you might not like this, but it is what it is. So I'm just gonna put some music on, random music.
You need to know what you're getting into.
Gotta love YouTube ads.
Robbers, the anime.
Alright. So, let's continue where we left off. I know what I did wrong was I never factored in the camera movement as to the squares. And you know, now that I think about it, we could create a grid class that has the parent object. We would still have to create there's probably a way that we can create there's probably a way we could pass the draw function up with the cubes and call it one time for all of the cubes. But the way we're doing it now, it works. It's fine. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna open VS Code first of all. And we are going to open terminal. Sure. Well, let's do that. Part 1. Good. Commit that. That's nice. Excuse me. So this is where we never factored in our X location. Without looking, I believe that we are supposed to that seems right. Let me check my notes, because I went through all this before, and instead of just playing the guessing game, if you guys want to experiment with this stuff on your own, you're more than welcome to. But I'm back to my time constraints. I'm trying to do this stuff quickly.
You're on your fucking own.
Do we have the ID up? Cool.
Sleep.
Where's my... Cool. That down. Let me pull up my source.
Sleep.
Because I'm pretty sure, so what I want to do is I want to go ahead and plug zoom in as well. So the way I did this before was actually different than this. We can run this now just to see though. Oh. Personal Python Pathfinder. And the built-in get function resulted in an error with an error set in PyGame.get. That is interesting. That's something I've not seen before. So, still no movement. So the way that I did it before, oh, you can't see this. It printed it offset. We're still, I guess you don't need that over there. We're still getting cursor movement. We can stop printing out the cursor movement though. So, to update the camera, draw happens every cycle, so we don't have to worry about that because the UI is updating the camera. But I want to change this to update viewport, because that's actually what we're doing. We're updating the viewport, not just the camera, because we're actually updating mouse location. And then we are inherently updating the camera position. Theoretically, we could pass the camera position down a layer. Oh, we're never passing it into draw. Camera props is the zoom and camera position. So actually, if we pass the zoom down here a level, and we pass the camera position down here a level, then we can pass in self.zoom and self.camera position. And then we pass these in as a tuple. Actually, you know what? Let's do away with that and just pass this in more explicitly. And we'll say zoom and then camera position. Camera position. Then we can do away with that. And we can just unwrap this. So if we run that now, we should still have nothing. That's interesting. Oh, did I did pass it in. Well, that doesn't do any good to have these pinned, huh? You can just move them around anyway. Did I update camera? Maybe I forgot to save camera, so it was still writing multiple locations. So let's go ahead and factor this in. So So the way I did it before was I did the x minus the origin. So how this works is we're taking the center of the camera and then we're also offsetting the center of the screen. Right now obviously it's not lining back up, but then we'll also factor in zoom. And then our size becomes self-size times zoom also. Let's see if that makes any difference at all. You know what I'm not doing? Update viewport. Why does this method look like it doesn't fit? Camera. So what I really, let's change this. Let's say that if the middle mouse button is down, let's do it this way. Because really we want to limit this, so it would just be game, and if the middle mouse button is down, we're just gonna say update viewport, and then we'll get rid of that, and we'll get rid of this, and then that's exclusively there. Oh, you know what? I bet we're outside of the bounds, and so therefore we can't do this check. So we need to figure out where we are initializing our camera, and so our camera location currently is 0, 0, so we're in the top left corner. And we actually need to be let me double check map. We need to be at the center of the map, but I can't remember if it's the center. It's not the center in grids, I don't believe. I believe it's just the center XY. I want to double check. Camera. So it's the screen width and screen height, I believe. No, it actually is the map width and map height. So it's specifically the map size. So we kind of do, so we need to also, if we're going to do it this way, which we don't have to, this is all preference. You could leave it up here and pass it in as a variable, but I kind of like the idea of passing it right here, and then we can say that our camera position is actually the map size, or is it? Yeah, I didn't even bother with it being an int. So this should initialize this in the middle of the screen, and then being in the middle of the screen, so that what was happening is we're hitting this check and we're failing here because our new X did not fit these constraints because we were already initializing it as outside of the map. So operand supported for, oh, derp. Failed that error because map size 0. We need to get the first index. I've just woke up. I haven't had my coffee yet. Cool. Now we're back at the center. And when we move, I bet you we're still at 1 frame per second. 15 ticks. Why is that? I don't want to do it like this. How did I do this before? I cannot find any. I think I did it implicitly in the camera before, and I don't necessarily want to do that either. You know what, let's do away with this, and we're gonna hide it in the UI itself, since we're gonna update here anyway, and we're already using, gonna have to import PyGame eventually. So we can say that if the pygame.mouse.getPressed, and then we want to say 1. We want to use the middle mouse button, and you can do whatever you want. Yours, you can use any set of key combinations, but there we go. So it was updating once when you push the button, and you can see now we have smooth movement. The only thing we have to do now is implement zoom. And do we want that here too? I think we do want to put that here in the game event. Not that it really matters. We could actually put it in viewport, but then we have to do a check again. We might change the name of this, and then we could modify this a little bit. But let me double check. Let me double check. Yeah, I think what we're gonna do is say we could check that the button was specifically pressed, but I kind of like just doing, because of the way PyGame does the mouse with the get pressed buttons, that like you can just say that 4 for the mouse button is I believe this is scroll up. And I believe actually before I had a, let me double check how I did this, because I know I had a single. Oh, you know what I did before? This is really interesting. I had a single zoom function, or actually I didn't even have a zoom in and zoom out function. Did I? I don't think I ever implemented a zoom in and zoom out function. That's what it was. And I actually did the mouse checking inside. And that's actually what we need to do. We need to update the viewport as a single function here. So let's just call that. Going in circles, but we'll get there eventually. So we'll update the viewport. What we'll do is we will consistently update the mouse position. And then we'll say we don't need that here. No. That seems better. If mouse dot get pressed equals, so that would be the first button, but we want the second button. We want the middle button. Dang it, I can't type. Then we're gonna move. Let's move this down a little bit. And for zoom in, this one will be pretty simple. We'll just say that the new zoom is going to equal self zoom. I guess we could do +1. Let's try that. I was gonna do times 1.1 and just scale by magnitude. But then we will check that we are getting the least of the maximum zoom and the new zoom. So we don't ever want to go over the max. We don't need a max zoom function because we already have the max zoom statically defined. I'll show you why we're doing that in a minute. It's been easier to move this one up. So the minimum zoom, we'll need to calculate our minimum zoom. And it's a little bit of a hacky way to do this. Let me check my work chat. Give me a second. Hold on a second. Had work question come up about MFA. So MFA is defined as 3 factors. 2FA is 2 of those factors. So we have knowledge, which is something you know, possession, such as a badge or smartphone, or inherence, like a fingerprint or something unique to the person. Jeez. So, even if you know what MFA is, I'm going to read what I wrote. In cybersecurity and compliance, it is typically defined by knowledge, possession, and inherence. So a password, a birthday, a series of phrases, would be knowledge. An authenticator on a phone, the phone itself, a badge, or even a key would be considered possession, to include third-party access validation. An inherence would be something that's unique to the person, like voice authentication, fingerprint, or retina scan, or anything like that. So typically, in terms of cybersecurity and compliance, as long as you're implementing more than one of those access controls, you have met the requirement for MFA. Using Azure, Radius, OpenVPN, or whatever are just different methods for adding possession-based and authentication. And in some ways, they might use a level of knowledge and inherence to validate you as the user on their side, but that still qualifies as MFA. That's typically why we say 2FA as compared to MFA. But yeah. Okay. Anyway, let's get back to what we're doing. Sorry about the interrupt. I still have a job that I do. Let me just stay out of that. They're talking about things that are above my pay grade. So, the first thing we're going to do for the minimum zoom is we're going to find the distance to the edge of the map. And the way we can do that is by finding the distance from the current location to the center. So what we'll do is we'll get the minimum of the camera position 1 minus the center of the window and the camera position, is that right? The width of the map minus the camera position right. So we're going to calculate the same thing two different ways, and we're going to take the lower value, because we want to limit the minimum zoom. So we're going to get the camera position to the center, and then we're also going to do the same thing, the camera position to the center subtracted from the size of the map, which will still give us the center. I think that's right. We can test it. And then we will get the minimum X zoom as the half the screen size divided by the oh yeah, we're actually not the map size. We're gonna do the screen size again, so this will be itself. But this is where we are going to factor in the distance to the edge. I wonder if Copilot will give me comments. Nope. Find the distance from the center to the current, from the current position to the center of the map, or the edge of the map. You know, honestly can't remember why I had to do this, but we'll see it work in a second. I think this was just a little added optimization. We could have left it at a single point, and we can compare the two. But then we will return the maximum of these two. So I want to be able to zoom out according to I want to be able to see the whole X and Y. And then we were going to go ahead and do the same logic that the new zoom is the self zoom minus 1. And then we want to make sure that we factor to the minimum zoom versus the new zoom. And we can actually so we have to continually do this because it's based on our position. So that's what this is doing, is this is actually basing our zoom on our current position. Like, we don't want to zoom out a ton um, if you're at the very edge of the map. And it's kind of annoying to do it like that. Maybe we could just allow. Well, it doesn't matter too much. So, we're going to go into the UI. No, we're going to go back to our viewport. And if we have a mouse that gets pressed for number 4, we're going to zoom in. And get number 5, we're going to zoom out. But it's also not that simple. So, or is it? Let's try it. Tuple index out of range, mouse press number 4. Oh, it didn't like this mouse press. Happened to my tune. Okay. Anyway, where'd my music go? That's what I wanted to know. I didn't. Did I close it? Oh, to pause me. Okay. Curious why that didn't update. Did Tuple out of range? Is it mouse? Sometimes I don't like the that should work. I don't know. Too many tabs, too many tabs. let's just subtract these. We'll do this. We will say, actually, let's just make sure that it's not the function. Yeah. Doesn't like that for some reason. Okay, we'll add it here. We'll do it this way. We'll say that if it's a mouse button down, if the E button equals number 4, then we are going to game.zoom in. And then if it's number 5, we're going to zoom out. See if that works. So here's our map, and we can zoom in. Whoa. Our zoom out function is jacked up though. Our zoom out does not work. Did something wrong. Let's see what we did. I bet you, see, before I named all of these variables as their own variable, which was a very helpful thing to do, but it gets confusing when you have map size, screen size, number of map squares, number of screen squares, etc. So let's go back to our camera. Let me look at it before. So the camera position X minus the center of the window. The map width minus the current location minus the center of the window. Do we have screen size self dot screen center X. Where am I doing with the map? Oh, self dot map center. I don't think we need the center of the map. Just need map width, and then screen center X, and then let's do it like this. Self dot screen width, self dot screen height, and then why not? I don't think it makes a difference. I ended up just doing the same thing I did before, but whatever. And this is duplicate. I mean, it almost doesn't make sense to define it at the top level, other than just ease of access for defining these things. We don't even need the screen center either. And we don't even pass in the square size. But let's do that since we're not already. Screen size, number of map squares, map size. We could actually factor that in the lower level too. So let's swap square size for screen map size. Will be square size. This is why I like strongly typed languages, because this would have broken other languages. Map size, we don't need that here. We have it on the lower level. That didn't even break anything. Map width. Map height. And then this becomes map square 0 times square size. And then this becomes self dot map width divided by 2 and self dot map height divided by 2. So we are coordinating our map based on we are actually working our grid based on the map size. Which is not exactly the screen size. We're scaling these squares by the square size. Excuse me. And the number of map squares gets passed down, so we can factor our Pathfinder based on our square size, and that becomes simple enough. This could actually be turned into a grid type, but we can look at that later. It's not really necessary. I've probably spent a decent amount of time doing nothing, basically. We still didn't fix our zoom out problem, though. It's picking the maximum. Screen size 0. I want to see what it recommends. Let's see what happens when we let Copilot tell us what to do. Why don't you just fix it too? Oh. Okay, so that's not exactly what we wanted though, but it's not wrong. So in this way we can't zoom past the edge. And so what I want to do is I actually want to scale this. Because I do want to be able to zoom past the edge just a little bit. So now the only problem is that now we can't move, so we can't move whenever we are zooming.
I felt like I was useless because that's what my parents told me. That I was a failure and a loser. I believed them. I felt like a burden to everyone. I just wanted to erase my existence.
I wonder if we can do like, let's scale this to I think I actually scaled it the wrong way, but oh, so now we can zoom, we can move up. We move, whoa, whoa. Oh no, I have that same problem again. That is not good. Yeah, this is super buggy. I don't think I like using the, I'm gonna go back to doing this. And I know that's not the issue, but think, little brain. The minimum zoom. I'm gonna go back to the way I was doing this before. Before I was actually scaling the distance plus the window size. And then I was just doing the height and screen height, because that's probably not right. We should scale them both to the same level. So we can't move past this point. And then it resets our zoom. We are zooming in and out. Limit the move because we're not doing these the same way. That's the problem. So we really need to find a we could factor in the zoom here. That's not right. That's for the mouse position. So this is just finding the mouse's distance. And this is the screen distance. Let's try it. And zoom out more, and we can move while we're zoomed out and to the edge. And when we're zoomed in, and it stays consistent space. The only thing is that when I'm at the edge, it doesn't want to let me zoom out. So there's a problem with this DX. I wonder if we just did this. I remember I had problems when I did it like this, but let's see how much different that is. This might fix it. We go to the edge, and it's still, when we zoom out, we hit that minimum zoom. So that's where we're hitting the problem. It's not consistent. What if we do this the other way? What if we subtract the center from the camera position? I think screen X from camera position. And we pick the minimum. Pick the minimum of the so if we're closer to the right edge, we'll get this one. If we're closer to the left edge, we'll get this one. So we're always gonna focus on which side we're doing. So many mechanics go into stuff like this. Just never would think about. Oh, we can still zoom out now. Cool. And when we're at the edge, we can still zoom out. It's kind of a little hacky, but now we can't move when we're close to the edge. I mean, we have some functionality. It's just a little bit buggy, and I don't really like it. What we can do is we can factor this into this is like, I hate doing it like this, but this is like a really hacky way to do this. That's not right. Wonder if I even need to scale this now. It's a bit buggy, and I don't really want to spend too much time on my graphics that broke it. Yeah. I don't want to spend too much time on camera mechanics, but I don't want to do it wrong either. So the problem with this is that once we're zoomed out too far now, we can't move. What if we do map width? This still isn't gonna fix. So let's just zoom. We can move up and down. The problem is when we... Well, we can kind of move. The problem is we can zoom... Well, it's interesting. We can zoom past where we can move at. Now we can't move. I mean, we have to make like drastic... You're kind of stuck on this edge unless you do a really hard movement. You know what? What I'm gonna do, and I hate doing it like this, I'm just gonna statically type a minimum zoom. And if you guys want to go in and figure out what I did wrong, go ahead. Oh, that didn't help. We're still gonna have the same problem though. So the problem is we're trying to calculate two different things dynamically. We're trying to calculate how far we can move based on how much we're zoomed. And we're trying to calculate how much we can zoom based on how far we're moved. You know what? I hate doing this, but I'm gonna pass this to ChatGPT. Just seeing. There's something I did here that's just critically wrong. I know it has something to do with this right here too. It's actually got to do with this. I know it does. Let's see. It literally just gave me my code back. AI is not anywhere near as amazing as people think it is yet. And this stuff is not even new. It's been around for a while. Yeah, and then there's points where I can't move all the way to the edge. So annoying. I'm doing something wrong, and I had this working before. Worked on my other one. But I don't know what I did. You know, actually, on my other one, what I did was I divided it. I scaled it down, actually. And I made it not a float. Oh, and I factored the center of the window. Oh, derp. That's the thing. Use the center of the screen. Duh. I wonder how many of you are sitting there watching me do this and be like, bro, you're using the edge. Because we want to stay based around the center. I've done this like 10 different ways and they were all wrong. Okay, so now it's just the zoom that's messed up. So now we should be able to go back, and that's why we had the minimum of the what was it? The current position minus the center of the window. That's where we were factoring things based around where we are versus the map width and height minus the center of the window. There we go. Now that makes sense, or at least it makes sense to me until I break it. What the heck? Why did this pop up? Tried wrapping the whole thing in the list. Okay. Now we can zoom out. We can move while we're zoomed out. We move to the edge. Well, it's not exactly right. It's messing my zoom up a little bit. And I think it's because of this scaling. Let's try this. Actually, it's just not gonna let us zoom out all the way. Let's try a little bit larger number. We're almost there. We might be able to just scale this by zoom. We might not even have to. The thing is, we want our movement bounds to be inside the zoom bounds, because then we can always zoom to the same depth. Yeah, so we still need to scale this. And then we can move. Can't move past that same line, so we're almost there. What am I missing? What am I missing? I'm missing something crucial. mission something. You know what? I hate to do it like this, but let's try it. I know it's gonna be way off. Whoa, now my zoom is all the way messed up. What did I do? Like, seriously scratching my head. It shouldn't take this long to implement zoom. What if we call minimum zoom here? And then we factor that here. I'm like grasping for straws now. And then we don't want to go 1.4, we want to go... Let's just divide by 2 and then scale by 2. I know there's something like fundamentally wrong with this, but my brain is just, oh, of course we cut it in half. That's why I was doing basically like a third, so times it by 0.3. Come on. And then we will times this by 3. Oh, forget we're subtracting the difference of that, so. No, that's weird. It's like it's getting stuck. Just moving to the edge, like getting it stuck. That was weird. Oh, because the minimum zoom. Damn it. This has my head hurting. I could just say we can never move past a certain point. It doesn't matter when you're zoomed, but that doesn't scale. See, that's the problem. These points need to be the same, and I'm trying to figure out. And now I can't move. You know what? This video was supposed to be about pathfinding and map generation, not my failed attempts at implementing cameras. It's getting worse. I hate doing this, but I'm genuinely about to copy my old code in and see what different. Window X would screen center X. I wonder if I had those backwards. I wonder if I accidentally did that backwards. I already have update board in here still. I have right click enabled for when I'm on the MacBook. I guess it don't matter, you can push down with 2 fingers. Need that.
Download any video to watch anytime, anywhere. Get YouTube Premium. All YouTube.
I don't know if I scaled by the zoom here when I did the distance. That might have been the problem. I thought I did though, but center window screen center X. Center Y. Let's just see. I don't. Game has no attribute X locate. Camera position. I'm pretty sure this is the same thing I just did. Well, now we can zoom way out. And mouse Y. Where's mouse Y? Missing one positional arctic mouse Y. Line 58 data toward. Let's see. Move. We can zoom way out. Cannot assign tuple. So, boom. There we go. Still getting the same problem. But we can at least move to the edge no matter how zoomed in we are. I don't know what I did wrong there. My zoom out factor is just way too high. Maybe we just leave those the same. Let's see. Still zooming way out, but you know what? This is good enough to work for now. We can zoom in, we can move around the map, we can reach the edges of the map. Not the worst thing in the world. Maybe if I wonder if we say if we are zoomed out, we can move. You know what? It's not the worst thing in the world. I can live with this. What I can't live with is spending any more time on this. Because this is not the main focus of this. So I apologize for wasting time on camera problems. Maybe you've learned something. Maybe you know a better way to do this. Maybe you can fix this. Either way, I'm going to cut this here. And in the next one, we're going to start rendering our, creating our noise map. And then we will work from there. So, I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm going to cut it here. I'm going to go ahead and say camera problems part 2. And if you have any questions or anything, feel free to shoot me in comments, and I will be back shortly. I'm gonna take a little break, and then I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna finish this whole thing. I'm gonna try to do it in one episode, so that'll be nice and interesting. But anyway.